As we work in the laboratory, we want to make sure that we are safe. There are basically two safety hazards in most laboratories: chemicals and fire. You will be exposed to a few chemicals in the anatomy and physiology laboratory, but we do not work with fire in this laboratory. In terms of protective devices, you may want to have a lab coat or some sort of shirt that you wear while you're in lab simply to protect you from getting any of the fluids on you that we work with, but that's completely optional. You will need to wear safety goggles and gloves at some times. As you come to your table, make sure you only bring to the table the material you are going to need that day to work with in lab. Leave everything else on the side of the room. Dress appropriately. Primarily, this means wearing closed-toed shoes, but any other clothing you wear should fit you well and not be falling off so that you have to constantly keep tugging at it. And you need to keep as much skin covered as possible so that you have less possibility of coming into contact with chemicals. It is important that you put nothing in your mouth when you're in laboratory. So there's going to be no eating or drinking. You don't need to put on chapstick. You really don't need to be chewing gum. Any accident or any damaged lab material needs to be reported to the instructor, no matter how minor you think it is. When doing dissections, you must wear gloves and safety goggles. Now, we will provide the gloves for you, but the safety goggles are your responsibility. The purpose of these goggles is simply to prevent things from splashing into your eyes. If you already wear glasses, that's sufficient eye protection. You do not have to have high impact chemically resistant goggles. You can actually go to Home Depot or Lowe's or even Walmart and get a pair of lightweight plastic glasses that are used when you're doing woodworking, and that's fine. They're very inexpensive. Some additional rules. You want to keep any long hair tied back out of the way. You really don't want to be dragging your hair through any of the cat material that we work with. Disinfect your tables after lab and wash your hands before leaving lab. Please push your chairs up to the table when you leave lab. It just makes lab look neater. And you cannot bring people into the lab who are not enrolled in the lab. This applies even when we have open labs for review. You may not bring your children, you may not bring your husbands, your wives, your significant others. We have some different kinds of trash in lab. Occasionally, we will work with stuff that might be contaminated with blood or body fluids or bacteria. Those items will need to be disposed of in a special biohazard container. When we have labs that work with that kind of material, a special biohazard container will be provided. If you break a slide, or if we have any sharp equipment that's disposable that we get rid of, we need to use the sharps container to dispose of that. This is basically a cardboard box so that the sharp edges won't poke through and possibly damage someone who might later be handling the trash. Most of the trash is going to be just regular routine trash. Paper towels, paper you're getting rid of, that just goes into a regular trash can. There are a few items of safety equipment in the lab. The fire extinguisher is a multi-purpose fire extinguisher, good for all kinds of fires. This is the kind where you pull the pin in the handle, you pull the hose away from the cylinder, squeeze the handle, and point the hose at the base of the flames. Make sure you know all of the fire exits from the laboratory. You need a fire exit that takes you directly to the outside. Do not ever use an elevator. One of the windows in the lab is marked as an emergency exit. This is the one window that will open wide enough to allow people to go through it. Also, pay attention to where the fire alarms are. Fire alarms are typically near the doors that are actual fire exits from the building. If you are evacuating a building because of fire, pull the fire alarm on your way out. The safety shower is designed to remove chemicals from your body. If you stand under the shower and pull the handle down, you get a shower. To turn it off, you have to push the handle back up. In A&P, you're more likely to have something on your hands rather than all over your body, in which case going to the sink and washing your hands thoroughly is all you need to do. Or if you get something in your eyes, you would really want to use the eye wash. The safety shower is kind of overkill for the A&P lab. The eye wash is a shallow basin, and to use it, you put your face over it and then push or pull on the handle. Water will then wash across your eyes. The emergency power off button will turn off the power to the electrical outlets in the room. You want to use this if someone should accidentally become part of an electrical circuit. Perhaps they plug in an instrument that is not adequately grounded and they become part of the electrical circuit. Your first impulse is to pull them off, but if you do that, you become part of the electrical circuit. It is much safer to use the emergency power off button. Pensacola State College does have a police department. You will see police officers patrolling the campus. They're in blue uniforms. We also have, as an associate to the police department, our public safety department. These people wear brown uniforms. The police officers are true police officers. The public safety people are folks that assist the police department with things like escorting people to their cars or unlocking doors or just generally kind of cruising the campus. If you want to get in touch with our police department and you're using a campus phone, dial 2500. If you are using a cell phone or some non-campus phone, it's 484-2500. This will call the dispatcher who is on the Pensacola campus. Our police department is small enough that we don't have someone manning the police office on every single campus. So we have the dispatcher who can then get in touch with the appropriate officer via radio and send them to the location. Calling 911, if you're using a campus phone, you'll have to dial 9 for an outside line, 911 if you're calling from your cell phone. But if you do make that call, immediately notify the Pensacola State College Police Department at 2500. First of all, the 911 dispatcher usually checks with our dispatcher to see if they know anything about this emergency, so it's nice that our dispatcher can confirm that this is an issue. Second of all, our police department needs to coordinate with anyone who's coming on campus that's an emergency responder to help them find the right location. Be sure that when you call for any kind of assistance that you stay on the phone. Be sure you can give the location, know what room number you're in, where you are. Describe the nature of the emergency. Is it a fire? Do you need an ambulance? And any other details that you can give. Do not hang up until the person on the phone tells you they have all the information you need.